Hello guys, welcome back. This is Manikandan. So today video we are going to discuss about infrastructure pen test. Why we need to perform infrastructure pen test in our organization. Most of the people they know very well about application pen test that is called OAuth top 10 vulnerability. But most of the people doesn't aware what is the infrastructure pen test. I would say network pen test. Why we need to do or why we have to perform infrastructure pen test in our organization, and HR people are most of the people are looking for the candidate who has experience in infrastructure pen test, because the infrastructure pen test is playing major role in our organization. Why we need to do, why? Yes, today video we are going to discuss importance about infrastructure pen test. But at the same time, I will give a three different scenario. I hope those scenario will help you to understand about infrastructure pen test. Let's start example one. You have an application that is called, okay, I have an organization that is called a.com. I have an application that is called a.com. How I'm going to expose my application into in front of customer. A.com application will access from cloud. Cloud means internet. They are going to access via port number 443. There are different port that we can expose into internet, but this is example purpose. So that application will accessible via port number 443. Then that application will store some kind of user data, or application will retrieve some kind of users data from the database that is called DB server. Okay, so I am the user that is called user 1. I want to see about my profile, or I want to see some sensitive information into database. What I'm going to do, I'm going to request, hi application, hi application, I want to see some kind of data, can you help me? Then how that application will do, that application will process user data, I mean that user request. Then that application will retrieve the data from the database, then again the data will goes to application, then it will goes to user. So this is the way traffic flow happening when it comes to application, application traffic flow from user to database server. So when you are going to do application pen test, what you are going to do, you are the application pen tester, you are going to play as a role pen tester in this application only. Like you are going to test, okay, what are the vulnerabilities that we can expose in the application as per what get, like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, broken access control, etc., etc. There are so many vulnerability which are available in that application. So that is the way you are going to validate about application. But you are not going to validate about a DB server, how they configure, what is the database username and password they are using, what is the database version they are using, how you are going to validate, because this application is not accessible from internet, because this application accessible only from application to database server. It is not exposed to internet. But your role, you are going to play as a tester only that application itself. Okay, somehow if you are able to get cell information, some RCE, I would say they are running lower version of PHP, Apache, or any kind of application. So these kind of application which are running in that a.com. So as an attacker, if I am able to exploit this kind of vulnerability in that application, now I get RCE and command shell. There are so many remote code execution. So if they are able to retrieve remote code execution, what they will do, they will try to get the IPs which are available in that infrastructure, that is called SSR attack, because they got a command shell. Via command shell they can do some kind of stuff. But if you are running default username and password for this DB server, what they will do, they will get entire things. How you are going to validate in your application pentest? You are not going to do this kind of stuff. How they configured, what is the flow, what is the version, what is the username, password. We can't validate those things in application pentest, because application pentest we can do only application level stuff, not infrastructure. So that is the I'm going to start scenario 1, DB server. So I'm the infrastructure pen tester. What I'm going to do, I will get a list of IPs from app team. They are going to share, Manikanta, these are the IPs, you have to do infrastructure pen test. So what I will do, I will think about attacker perspective, then I will start my assessment, then I will validate everything. What are the ports are running, or what are the ports are allowed to access DB server. Basically, when it comes to application to database server, MySQL and MS SQL, and default it will run port number 1433. It is enough to make a connection between application to database server. But somehow if firewall team or network team they did some misconfiguration, they allowed any port from application to database server, that will make sense to attacker. So I can validate those things when it comes to infrastructure pen test. That is called a DB server. Then I can do one more thing, like what is the version they are using, what is the software they are using in that DB server, what is the username, password that they are using. So those stuff I can validate when it comes to infrastructure pen test. That is called DB server. Then backup server. That is scenario 2. So in backup server, none of the application host on the backup server. Then how you are going to validate your application pen test on backup server? Yes, it is comes under infrastructure pen test. So backup server, which means I would say, so backup server. What is the purpose of backup server? Backup server which used to store all the backup which are available in my organization, like I would say application server, database server, and whatever it is, like whatever things I feel it is a sensitive data, I can store those data into backup server, so that something will happen in my application server or database server, I can retrieve the data from the backup server. That is called backups. That is called backup server. So we can't do our application pen test in backup server. So like that's why people prefer to perform infrastructure pen test on backup server. So there is no use to allow any host to access backup server. If somehow application, sorry, a network team or a firewall team, they did some misconfiguration, they allowed any host to access backup server, what will happen? As I told you, if attacker able to retrieve or able to get some RC on this application, they will do some SSRF attack. Via SSRF, they will get to know there is one backup server which is available, and which we can communicate via port number any port access. There is no restriction to access this backup server. So what they will do, like they simply mount this backup server to their directory. That is called so mount -e. That is a Linux command we can use. So via mount command, they can mount this backup server to their system. So entire data attacker can see. It is not about single application server. As I told you, that backup server which is used to store all the data, multiple application server, multiple database server, those data will be stored on a backup server. Because of misconfiguration, attacker can see all the data from the backup server. That's why people prefer to use infrastructure pen test on the backup server. In our backup server, we can validate what are the hosts, are allowed to access backup server, and what is the default username, password they are using. Those things we can validate in the backup server configuration. Then scenario number 3, WAF device. Actually, there are so many network peripheral device when it comes to picture, but this is for demonstration purpose. I would say I prefer to use a WAF device. Basically that organization structure will change depends on business requirement. So, but this is scenario. Basically, how the traffic flow will happen. This is the user. I'm going to access to this application. What will happen? That first traffic will go firewall. There is in firewall there is a concept called NATing. The NATing IP will point to WAF device. nowadays people are using WAF device. If WAF device not available, then firewall NAT IP directly pointed to load balancer. If load balancer also is not available, then the firewall NAT IP will directly point it to application server. So this is the way of configuration. So if app team, I mean that network team or firewall team, if they are using default username and password for web device, or they are using weak password to access web device, what will happen? As I told you, as an attacker, if I'm able to retrieve or if I'm able to get a RC for this application, then I will do SSRF attack. Via SSRF, I will get to know, okay, there is web device they are running. Then I will try to log into the web device. If they are using weak username and password to access this web device, what will happen? As an attacker, and I will try to log into web device. If I'm able to log in, then I will see what are the rules they have configured. If I'm able to log into the device, then I can change my rules. Okay, if I'm able to change the WAF rules, what will happen? Entire organization collapse. When it comes to application printers, how you are going to validate the web device configuration of what the version they are using, and what is the username password they are using? We can't validate these kind of things in application pentest. We can do these kind of things in infrastructure pentest only. That is called network pentest. So it is the most important things, difference between application pentest and infrastructure pentest. The application pentest means it is a front end UI. You are going to do some modification, or you are going to validate some kind of stuff in the application pentest, but we are not sure how the traffic flow is happening in the backend. So infrastructure pentest, somehow if application hacked by someone, if application exploit to someone, we have to make sure, because of that exploitation, no one can do anything in our organization. If we are build a strong environment in the backend, it is not about application front. See, for example, let's give a small scenario that a.com, it is exploitable by someone. But if you are build a strong environment in your backend, like you are using strong username password for DB server, backup server, and you are running latest version, you have set it everything to backend infrastructure, then none of the things can do by attacker if everything is secure in the backend. Okay, so that is the things when it comes to infrastructure contest, playing major role in our organization. I hope it makes sense. I hope it will clear your doubt about application pen test and network pen test. And there are so many concepts. Before you are going to start any network pen test, you have to consider a couple of points, like any port access, and whether it is authenticated assessment or unauthenticated assessment. There are so many things will comes to picture before start the network pen test. I will tell you those things upcoming video one by one. So please leave the comment in the comment section below if you want to get any more details about infrastructure pen test. And these are the it's my understanding. If I'm telling anything wrong, or if I'm telling like it is not a right, it is not a good, or if you would like to add any more point about this concept, please leave the comment in the comment section below, so that if someone going to read your comment, they will get to know clear cut idea about infrastructure pentest. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a nice day. Bye.